example of waiting for the market to come to you, right? What did we do this morning on Microsoft? We started on the daily and we got prepared. We marked up all of our levels of support, resistance, supply, demand. We took everything into consideration. Daily, weekly, 4 hour, 1 hour. We got prepared. We did our due diligence, okay? And it's all about waiting for the market to come to you, come to one of those areas, okay? We just looked at Amazon and basically said, hey, we can't touch it right now on Amazon because our areas of resistance are up here. Our area of support's down here, okay? Cannot touch it until it's at one of your levels. Right here, is it at one of your levels? It's not, you can't touch it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Microsoft, okay? Microsoft, one of our top stocks today. I haven't had a trade on it because it never came to one of my levels. It just did, but I missed the opportunity. But right here, this was an area that I wanted to get short. Did I get short? No. Why? The stock never came into my level. If this would have come up into my zone, I would have definitely gotten short. Where to? To fill the gap. Where did Microsoft go down to? It came down and filled the gap to the penny. But did I ever get my confirmation to take it short right here? I mean, I didn't have confirmation to take it short, right? I wanted confirmation in my area. I wanted the market to come to me and then get confirmation. I never got it. There was no trade for me here. This was still a no-go zone. It's freaking close to my level. It's topping out, but it's not in my zone. It's not at my level, right? That's still a no-go for me, okay? Microsoft fading, falling, fading, falling, fading, falling, fading, falling. What was the other trade idea? We had multiple trade plans today, right? This was one of the trade ideas. Was come inside of the zone, stay below it as resistance. We get short down to fill this gap. And this whole area right here is a daily gap level here on Microsoft. And that was game plan number one. The stock ended up damn near hitting our level, giving us confirmation for the short. And it came down to the penny and closed the gap. We didn't take that trade. But what was trade idea number two? Was, okay, if we crack below that support level, right, and we stay below it, I want to short Microsoft to the downside for about 2 points to close the gap. What happened here on Microsoft? You came down to that level of support, you bounced. Down to that level of support, you bounced. But then you eventually cracked below it and retested it. You guys all see that? You have support. You have support. Here's another candle trying to hold support. Next candle, right below it, and then we see it turn into resistance, turn into resistance, turn into resistance. So we cracked below that support level. We saw it turn into resistance. There was another plan that worked out beautifully, right? And that was one of the plans we had. Falling below 335.65 and holding below that level as resistance, we had about 2 points to the downside to close the gap. That was a great trade if you guys were paying attention watching Microsoft, right? We talked about that one this morning, okay? That was waiting for the market to come to us. The market came to us and gave us confirmation at 10:50. An hour and 20 minutes into the day, we finally had Microsoft give us confirmation and give us an opportunity to get in, and that trade worked out beautifully. And then what happened? It came down and it closed the gap nearly to the penny. It closed the gap within 10 cents. So this gap on the daily was closed, right? We closed the gap. We came down and hit the 50 SMA as well, and what did we see? We saw a gap fill bounce, and that's a strategy. We call it the gap fill bounce strategy, to where it's like the stock is filling its gap to the downside, closes the gap, hits that level of support, and then bounces. Where to? The top end of the gap. Here's the top end of the gap right here. Here's the lower end of the gap down here. You could have short this at the top end of the gap to close the gap, covered your short position, and then got long for a gap fill bounce. Back up where to? The top end of the gap. Just like that, you would have had a short. You could have had a gap fill bounce long strategy. But again, what am I getting at here? Right? Yeah, there's a couple great trades, right? You had the short to close the gap. You filled the gap, could have flipped long, and actually took it for a gap fill bounce strategy, right? There's a couple great setups here on Microsoft. Things are playing out beautifully. What's the point of what I'm getting at? The importance of waiting for the market to come to you, right? Let the market just come to you. And when it does come to you and it gives you a reason to get in and there's confirmation, you're checking off all those criteria boxes, right? You're just setting yourself up for success, right? You're going to notice that a lot of the trades you take are going to be winners. The trades you take are going to be winners because you're letting the market come to you, to your areas, those high probability areas where you know that there's going to be something that takes place. Most of the time, there's going to be a setup, there's going to be an opportunity, and you know the risk is low, the reward is high, and the probabilities are there, right? Because you're letting the market come to you, and you're letting the market do what you want it to do. And if it does what you want it to do, then you take that trade, and you're confident in the trade. You know exactly how it's going to play out, right? The market comes to you, and it doesn't do what you wanted to do, then you don't have a trade. You're not going to take all of these crappy trades. So when you're not taking all of these crappy trades, you're not getting all of these crappy unnecessary losses, these paper cuts. So now we're taking all of these bad trades and these crappy trades, right? And we're not even taking them, right? So what's that doing? That's allowing us to focus on more winners. So naturally our win ratio is going to go up, right? Because we're not trading as much. And those trades that we're not taking anymore are typically what the losers are. 80% of those are losers. So now we're not even taking those. That's just going to naturally bring up our win ratio. And we're going to make more money in the market. We're not going to trade as much, right? And the trades we take are quality, right? Some of the highest probability setups, letting the market come to you. Multifaceted, increased win rate, more money on the bottom line, right? Less stress, less anxiety. You're not taking crappy trades and getting prematurely stopped out and taking unnecessary losses. You're going to notice that you're winning more in the market. You're not trading as much. And you're going to notice that you're making more at the end of the month as well. And so that's the importance of this. Let the market come to you and be super disciplined with that. The market got pretty close to coming to me, but I'm very disciplined. Did it come to me? It did not come to me. Am I trading it here? No. Did it work? Yeah, it worked. I'm not in it. Market came to me, right? There was a trade. 2 points to the downside. Came to me. Gap fill bounce strategy. 2 points to the upside. 2 winners right there back to back. This one could have been a winner, but we never took it. But imagine saying, you know what? I want the market to come to me here, but it's not quite there. But I think it's going to roll over. It's topping out. You know what? I know the market's really not at my zone. We still have about another $1 to go. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to get in anyway. You know it's a no-go zone. You know you shouldn't touch it because it's not at your level. But you say, you know what? I'm still going to take it. And let's say you would have taken that. Okay, this one would have been a winner. You're happy. Woo! That's a bad habit. The next trade, you're going to justify why you should get in early and not let the market come to you. It could be a winner, right? Again, you're reinforcing bad habits by doing that. Eventually, you're going to come across a trade and you're going to be like, I know I should wait and let the market come to me perfectly, but you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take it. And there's going to be that one trade that you do that. And it goes, and you're like, I'm going to give it another second. Oh, fuck, it's going against me. I should have waited. Okay, and now you're going to take a much bigger loss. You got in. You didn't wait for the market to come to you. You got in. Now you're sitting here losing money. You're justifying giving it just a little bit more. And all these winners, all of those other winners, now you're just giving it all back plus some because, again, you're just not being disciplined, right? You're giving into those bad habits. You're creating bad habits, right? And maybe a couple of these trades that you take, they work with you, but that's just reinforcing your bad habits even more. Eventually, you're going to get burned. You're going to get screwed because let's be honest. If I would have taken this trade right here, I already know that that's not a really good decision, right? I already know, like, dude, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't get in here because I need to be waiting for the market to come to me up here. Let's say I would have just jumped into this trade, right? And it went against me. Like, that's just an unnecessary loss, right? That's an unnecessary loss. And if it would have came up into the zone, who's to say it would have even reversed in the first place? It may have come up, broke that zone, and actually held it as support, where I should be reading that stock to get long. But since I didn't wait for the market to come to me, since I didn't wait for confirmation, I'm getting in early, right? That's a bad habit. I'm making a not so great decision, right? Now I'm short. Then the stock goes against me, starts setting up long, but guess what? I'm still short. I'm just looking for confirmation to hold my short, right? Like, I'm still in this trade. I'm reading it incorrectly because I'm short, never got confirmation in the first place. Now the trade starts going against me, right? Now it's setting up long, but I don't even see the long setup because I'm holding a short position. I'm really biased and I'm only looking for short confirmation. You may not realize this is what's going on in your head. This is all going on subconsciously in your mind. And some of you guys could probably resonate with this. You're like, yeah, I've done that before. Like, I've gotten in a little early. The trade starts going against me. right? And I just ended up getting destroyed on the trade. And it all came back down to just getting in too early and not honoring my rules. And I just gave into that bad habit. And then I just lost a lot of money. And then you close that trade. You go back and look and you're like, fuck, damn, I didn't even notice that the stock was setting up long. I'm too busy getting in early, right? Not waiting for confirmation, just to sit here and be in this trade way too long, in a trade I should never even be in the first place. And the fact that I'm short here, probably a little frustrated that trade's going against me, I completely missed the long setup. That was right there. Like, how many times have you been in a position like that? You get in prematurely, right? Knowing that you shouldn't be in yet, but you do it anyway. The trade goes against you, right? Trade goes against you, and you close it. You take a pretty big loss, and you beat yourself up. You're like, man, I should have never done that. Jeez, I'm blah, 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 whatever the case is. And you look back at the trade, and you're like, fuck, it actually gave me long confirmation. I was too focused on the short, trading the short, that I missed the long trade, and that was the right side of the trade to be on, right? I've been there a lot. And so how do we stop doing that, right? How do we not fall into that trap? And how do we not build bad habits, right? Being super dialed in and super disciplined. Wait for the market to come to you. If the market's not at your zone, at your level, you don't touch it, regardless of how bad you want to. You just don't touch it, right? And that's how you prevent and eliminate all of that from happening, right? And I know a lot of you guys can resonate with that, because I've been there as a trader, and it sucks. So how do we, again, stop doing that? Again, the whole point of this conversation is letting the market come to you. And if the market is not at your level, just be disciplined, guys, and just don't take the trade, right? Let the market come to you, right? Yeah, this would have been a winner. It would have been, okay? But who cares? It gave us 1-2 more trades. So who cares about this one when we have 2 more down here that are just as good setups? Really great, clean, high probability trades, okay? Because the last thing I want to see you guys doing is making bad decisions, building bad habits, and finding yourself in that situation where you're getting into a trade knowing you shouldn't, knowing you should wait, but you say, fuck it, you get in anyway. The trade starts going against you. You're frustrated. You're trading emotionally. You take a big loss. And then in hindsight, you're like, man, I should have never taken it. And if I would have never taken it, I would have noticed the long. And I could have taken the long and made money. But now you're going to carry that frustration into the next trade, the next day. And then, dude, all hell breaks loose and you never see the success you want to see. It's crazy that one bad decision, one little decision right here, how that affects the rest of your trading on the next trade the next day. It's crazy on how that lingers. And it doesn't even seem like that big of a deal. They're like, dude, it's only $1 different. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but what it bleeds into, what it turns into is huge. So wait for the market to come to you guys. For all of the reasons we discussed, just wait for the market to come to you. And then just get your confirmation. And once you have confirmation and you check off those boxes, just take your freaking trade. Keep it simple. Trading doesn't have to be hard. The only reason it's hard because we just feel like we have to trade. We have to get in. What if it starts dumping now and I'm not in? Who cares? Right? More stocks are going to set up here in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. By the end of the day, there's tomorrow, there's Friday. There's going to be opportunity. So who cares if you miss this trade? There's going to be another setup. Wait for it, right? And know that setup that comes to you is going to be the best one. That's how you're going to be great traders. That's how you're going to lock in consistent profits in this.